Glock is one of the most respected and carried pistols from concealed carriers to law enforcement across the country. And today I'm going to put all of mine up on the table and start eliminating them one by one until we get down to the last Glock that I would ever sell. Remember, this is just my personal opinion, and although I have some issues with these guns, some of which I'll talk about here, I still respect the heck out of these things, and there's one in particular that I would never sell. Let's go ahead and get to the table. So we have our table full of Glocks here, and now I want to start eliminating one by one until we get down to the last Glock I'd ever sell right here. Of course, these are just my guns, and so I feel like we have a pretty good representation, though, of the Glock line. There, of course, are some ones that I just don't have here. It kind of is what it is, but again, this is a pretty good representation. One of the first ones I'm going to start with that may surprise some of you that aren't familiar with my channel is the 43X. You can, of course, get these in the MOS version, which is fantastic. And, you know, overall, if you have bigger hands and you like pretty much a full-size grip, the 43X does provide some good things. And of course, this is just a starting platform for a lot of people. You know, they'll go in, they'll change the connector in the trigger and the pull of the trigger, and then they might change the grip and the texturing and do stippling jobs and, I mean, extended slide releases and all kinds of stuff. I generally don't do that stuff with my carry gun. The sights on this gun are awful. The trigger pull is not the same as a standard Glock. It is heavier, and it just does not feel the same. I really wish they would update the trigger in these 43Xs. Hey, two for the price of one. Again, you can do all this stuff, but in my opinion, it's just really not that good. And I think there's some better options out there when it comes to the Micro 9s. So this is probably the first one I would sell. As a matter of fact, I have sold it before. This is my second one because I wanted to re-review it and see what I thought about it a couple years after my first one. So that'd be the first one I'd sell. Next one we're going to talk about, Glock 23. Now, this is not my personal gun, but if it were any 40 caliber Glock, I'd probably sell it. Now, you'll see here that, you know, my friend has done a lot of this stuff that I was talking about. A different shoe right there on the trigger. He's got the extended release. He's got a different connector. He's got the Ameriglow with the ghost ring sight in the rear, which I actually do really like these sights. He's got a variety of different magazines with upgraded base plates on them, extended magwell. So he's done a lot of those things that I've talked about. I think he even has a titanium firing pin plunger on the inside of here, right? And a lot of people like doing this, and I have nothing against that, really. I mean, I've kind of talked about this in my defense guns, but any 40 caliber Glock, I'd get rid of. 9mm, more rounds, easier to shoot, easier to put shots on target, more available, cheaper, and modern ballistics makes 9mm one of the best viable self-defense rounds. Slide didn't go back in the battery. And for 40 caliber, anything, including Glock, I would get rid of them. The newest one I have here is the 47. This is essentially a Glock 17. You have the standard set of sights. It is optics ready. You do have the front slide serrations right there. Pretty much all the Gen 5 updates, slide release, magazine release, all that good stuff. 17 rounds in the mag. Same trigger feel as your standard Glocks. Again, it's just a starting point. We got our backstrap options here. Now, one cool thing they did is the way they have the slide and the dust cover. So I can take this slide, put it on that 19, put it on this gun, and have myself a Frankenstein 19X, essentially. So all of that is pretty good. Now I did have some issues with this gun. I'll make sure I leave the link to the video with this gun, and I'm still testing it to see if I have any additional issues. I haven't seen anything the last time I went to the range, so I'm hopeful. Much better. I'll be honest with you, where other full-size guns, I see the advantage of them. With this one, it's not like I was a much better shooter. Now, of course, again, sights and things like that, a little bit better trigger would make a difference in this conversation, but that's something I wish Glock would do straight from the factory, not me having to do it after I've already purchased the gun. Again, the sizing of this one, just a little unnecessary for what I would need. All right, let me butt into the video really quickly. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. And if you want to support us further, we're on Patreon, or you can join the channel right here on YouTube. For as little as $1 or 12 bucks a year, you can become a bigger part of the community and support everything we do here, from cameras, ammo, guns, gas, everything that you see here, you could become a part of, and you get some pretty cool perks along the way depending on the tier. So again, I'll leave those links down below to Patreon, or if you don't want to leave YouTube, you can become a channel member right here. Big thanks. If you can't do that or don't want to do that at this time, totally understand. Enjoy the rest of the video. Next one we'll talk about is the 42 here. Now, Mrs. Heckshot really loves this gun for concealed carry. It's light, you have 6 rounds, 380, little inferior to 9, of course, but for her purposes and what she wears, this gun works really well. I love this little 380. I still think, you know, if they increase the capacity of this thing, it would probably be the best little 380 on the market. But I'm telling you the guns that I would sell. And I honestly, dude, for a little backup or like a jogging type of gun, this thing is really good. I mean, it's almost like nothing. And what I like about the 42, especially compared to like the LCP Max, the LCP Max is not an easy gun to shoot. It's easier than the old LCPs for sure. But when I put the LCP Max in my hand compared to the 42 is just so much easier to control and shoot. I like the size they went on this one, where I think the 43X is a little too big as far as the length of the grip for the amount of rounds you get. I've talked about that in the past too. This one, I really like the size they went with this gun. Now, the trigger, of course, is not like a standard Glock trigger. You don't get the mag compatibility like you do with your double stacks. But all in all, the 42 is pretty good. But I prefer 9, and I'm willing to take on a little bit more weight to get that advantage in the ballistics of 9mm. Next one we're going to talk about is tough one. Glock 26. Now, I will admit, there are better carry options out there on the market right now that you can go buy. Shield Plus, Equalizer, P365, lighter, thinner options, just much better. But when it comes to the OG of concealed carry, this one's it. And it still has a lot of great features. I put the Trijicon HD sights on here a long time ago. Battlefield green. I've had this gun for a long time. And, you know, you still get 10 rounds in the mag. Its overall short length is really nice for concealed carry. It's a little bit chunky and a little bit heavy for what it is. But you do have mag compatibility with your full-size, you know, 9mm Glocks, of course. And overall, it's just a really decent shooter. Now, back then, I actually put these U-notch style sights. I wouldn't do that today. I'd put more of a squared off in the rear, but all in all, man, this is just a really fantastic gun. But again, things have changed since the 26 has come out, even the Gen 5 26, where I would just carry a Shield Plus instead. So reluctantly, I would sell the 26. That leaves us with two Glock 19s on the table. So a little bit of the mystery is gone here, but which one would I sell? Well, let me just tell you, the Gen 4 here has been a fantastic gun. Even with the little Burris Fastfire 3 on there, a little cheap dot that I've had forever. You can see the corner of it is bent. All right, Glock 19 Gen 4. Higher night sights from Trigicon on there, and it's just been a really nice gun. But the biggest thing with the Gen 5, even though I haven't done much with this, I haven't done anything with this gun. I haven't changed a single thing except swapping magazines at the range. But this right here, they removed the finger grooves, making a much more comfortable gun. It just makes it feel smaller in the hand, right? And I don't have exceptionally large hands, but it just has a different and better feel to it. And so for that reason alone, the trigger isn't better, it's about the same sights, same texturing, same release, I mean, same magazine release, same slide release, everything is the same except for that right there. They did make some other changes, but that's the biggest one to me. And so for that reason alone, the Gen 5 Glock 19 is the last Glock I would ever sell. I'd love to hear about your Glock collection or whatever. Which one would be the one you would rather sell? Let me know down below. If you like this video, maybe you like one of these other ones I've done here recently. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.